Monday morning and we're back to work. Vacation's over, now it's back to work.
3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, everybody? My name is Michael Lee Murphy, and you are here watching Board Game. These more maracas and flashlights. Highlight! Yeah! This is a weekly segment where we talk about a game in our collection. We take it down from the table and talk a little bit about what we find groovy in the game, what is most excellent about that game. And today I have just a small little game by the name of Kingdomino. This is a very lightweight gateway level game by Bruno Catala and Blue Orange Games, where you're kind of doing the whole matching types that you would like in dominoes. You have to match numbers, but here we're going to be matching terrain types to try to build a little kingdom or a tiny little awesome queendom and get points. So I don't have much more to say about it. Let's get down to the table and I'll show you a little bit about this game and why I really, really love it, especially as a filler for game nights or for getting new people into the hobby. As you can see down here, I have kind of an assortment of stuff. We have a bunch of these tiles. We have our little castles. We have little kings and queens down here, and we have a couple things in display in the super duper cool tower. So in this game, we're going to be using all of these different tiles to build out a kingdom or a queendom or whatever you want to call it. And they all have numbers on the back, which is going to help you kind of put them all out in order. So what we're going to be doing in this game is we're going to be shuffling all of these up. So we want them to be in a random order. We don't want them in order, but out of order. So if you were buying Kingdomino early on when they had it, basically you'd use this tray, which when you're storing the game would hold all the tiles to kind of hold the tiles again. Because we're going to be drawing these out just a few at a time in order to kind of see what we have available to us in each turn. But now if you were to get this game at Target, they sell this at Target for very cheap. It's a great kind of gift around Christmas time. It comes with a super sweet tower in there, which makes it so you don't need to use the box here for those storage purposes. You can just use a super cool domino tower. And this one's for Age of Giants. Which is how we got our copy, because we bought the game too early and they didn't just give us a bunch of cool free stuff. Okay, so now I have all of my tiles in this tower, which will make it easy just to kind of pull out a few tiles at a time without any sort of peeking, seeing what numbers are coming up, because the numbers factor heavily into the game. It's kind of one of my favorite parts of the game. So for whoever you have playing, we'll pretend we have a 4-player game. We'll just show you a couple of the little kingdoms we're building. Everyone's going to have one of these little starting tiles, and then they're going to put their little kingdom on here in the center, or at least it starts off in the center. It might not end up being your center, because it's up to you how you want to build your domain up. It's yours. Make it how you want it. So in each round, you're going to have 4 tiles out, and you're going to put them in order going higher as you go down with the numbers. So 3 is a really low number. That's going to be at the top. 15, 22, and 47. Once you have that, then you're going to flip them over and reveal the other sides. And if this was the first turn of the game, what we're going to do is everyone's going to take one of their meeples. Someone will shake them out, and whoever drops out first, they are now going to get to choose one of the 4 tiles that they want to have on their turn. Now, we're going to be trying to make kingdoms where we match land types. There's things like swamps and mines and forests and prairies and yellow and water. And we're going to be trying to build out kind of large areas, hopefully, that have just all one land type. So it's many different squares right here, each square being a half of a domino. And then we're going to be trying to get crowns. So there's some crowns in the tops of some of the tiles, some of the squares for the land types. So at the end of the game, you're going to get points for your land types that have crowns in them. So for an area that had 5 squares worth of forest, if I had 2 crowns, it's going to be 2 times 5 is 10 points for that area. You can have the biggest area ever. If there's no crowns in there, it's still 0 points, because 0 times anything is still 0, and that's the only thing I learned in math. So with all of the tiles, there's numbers 1 through 48 in the base game. The lower numbers, the 3s, 4s, and 5s, are not going to have crowns on them, but they often will have like 2 of the same type of land, which is really useful. The higher numbers will often have crowns, and that's how you get to score. But depending on what you choose, if we all decided I'm going to choose this, choose this, choose that, and choose this, we are now going to play in order going down the tiles. So once we have these 4 things to start off the game, we're going to immediately get another row. We're going to do the same thing, order it by number. So we got 24, 29, 31, and 38. Blue gets to go first since they are the highest, or choosing the weakest tile. They are going to get to put their tile into their kingdom and then choose the next tile first. So if you go all the way down here, you're going to get the most valuable tile available, but you also will not get to choose where you go because there's only one tile left at the end of it. So there's always this kind of balance of like, I need the valuable thing, but I kind of need to have choice in what I'm doing because there are rules for how you place tiles. So how do you place those tiles? It's really simple. Again, kind of like dominoes, you have to match numbers. Here we have to match land types. You have to have at least one of the two halves of a tile. Again, each tile is broken up into two squares. Even if they're showing the same type, there's still two halves to it. At least one of those things has to match something else in your kingdom. Or if it's touching the center thing, your starting piece, this is wild. Anything can touch this no matter what. So again, you don't have to make a perfect match. But if I have like a forest sticking out here and my next tile is this, I can't just plop this down right on top of there. Because this isn't a forest. That's not a forest. I can't put it over here because this isn't a forest. But I could put it down here because this counts as a wild. And then that means I have at least one thing matching, and then I'm all good to go. So that is the kind of rules. It's just like, if I'm going to build this out, this is legal because the forest matches the forest, so that's okay that this doesn't match. It's okay that that doesn't match because it's still touching one thing to something. When I'm adding it, matches. That's basically the main rule. The other main thing that you have to do is you have to build within certain parameters. So your kingdom can only be 5 squares wide or 5 squares high. Now this piece right here doesn't need to stay in the middle, but you still can only ever have a box maximum of 5. So if I have this, if these are the first 2 moves I made, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know I cannot build wider than this. I can go up and down. This can become the top, the bottom, or stay in the middle, but I can't go here because now I'm 6 total across. You got to watch that. So it can get funky because if I'm building out like this, I'm doing a bunch of cool stuff, and this all makes sense and whatnot. You might end up with like a square up here, and then you come down here and there's a square down there, and you realize I'm never going to be able to finish because I can't rip a domino in half. There are rules in life. So you can get kind of stuck with having to ditch a tile. If you can't play, you have to play if you can, but if you cannot play anything, then you simply discard the tile and you won't get to use that. You won't have a complete kingdom, which might mean less points. So that's pretty much most of what this game's about. Again, every turn you're just going to be pulling out more dominoes, and then you're going to be putting them, and it's really about that balance of, do I want the valuable pieces, or do I want to go earlier to make sure I don't get stuck grabbing tiles that I can't place and things like that. And I really like that that's pretty much all that you have to think and worry about. Like, this game is perfect for any group, anytime. We can teach and play this game in 15 minutes, maybe. You know, and that's like if it's at like a 4-player game, you can just get right to it because people get the concept of like, make these colors the same. Okay, that's cool. This doesn't match. That's okay. You know, like we've been matching stuff since as the beginning of everything. Is just make stuff match, find patterns and things. So I really like that it has that appeal and it doesn't bog itself down with much other stuff. One thing that I mentioned is we have the Age of Giants expansion. If you do want to get like a slight addition, it doesn't make it more complicated, but if you want to add a little bit on, like one thing that's really cool that it comes with is it comes with like these basically objectives. They say like, hey man, if you can get mines into the corners of your kingdom, for every mine that's on the very edge of a kingdom, you get 5 bonus points. Same thing for forests, or maybe if you put your castle in the very center of your kingdom, you'll get 10 bonus points. So it kind of makes you kind of think about the puzzle a little bit more versus just having to match those types. All the normal rules will apply. That's something that's really cool. Or you can have it where there's giants coming around, and if you draw something that has a giant on it, you have to put a giant meeple that covers up one of your crowns. But then if you find something with footsteps on it, you can then pass the giants around to other players and kind of be like, ha ha ha. So it adds like a tiny bit of take that interaction, but while still keeping the base of the game really, really simple and easy. There's Queendomino as well, which maybe we'll do a board game highlight on in the future, which adds like a fair bit of complexity compared to Kingdomino. I wouldn't say it's a complicated game, but if you want to have something a little beefier, you can go for that. But like Kingdomino is smooth. I played it with kids. I played it with non-gamers. I played it at the end of a night if we have just 10 minutes in between games while people are still finishing up over here and over here. Kingdomino is like easy to put down. It's pleasing. It's colorful. It's good for the eyes, and it's just fun to try to build out the best kingdom you have, and like oftentimes it can be kind of a struggle to like make sure you don't mess it up so you can't place a tile. So anyway, those are just some of my thoughts on Kingdomino. What do you think about Kingdomino? Are you a fan? Do you like to play it? Does it appeal to your nature? Did you play dominoes and stuff like that? Let me know your thoughts on Kingdomino in the comments below. Folks who know us know that we like Bruno Catala, we like Blue Orange Games, we like the weight that they typically make their games at, because it's just a fun experience. They want to have something that's a fun experience that'll make you smile, and that's what this is. It's kind of nothing more, nothing less, but one that like we've gotten a decent amount of longevity out of despite its simplicity. So anyway, folks, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to us, I'm Mike of the Brothers Murph. Feel free to subscribe. Please share this video and give it a thumbs up. We very much appreciate it, and thanks for hanging out with me here on Board Game Highlight.